Everybody, Money Mondays. What are we doing today?
Talking about stuff. We're talking about how to buy your first apartment complex in the next 90 days.
And who are you and who are me?
Not
What are we doing?
98.
We gotta do some introductions here,
Ferris
man.
Musa, the charming, more intelligent, and hair-filled half of Disrupt Equity.
Oh, whoa.
I got it all, so you can't take any of the lingering ones.
Come on, push that hair down, all right? Let's see this thing. No, I'm just joking.
No, I was actually noticing. I'm definitely balding a little bit over here. You can see it.
A little bit of maybe a year or two. You're good.
I
Just
got a couple
enjoy
more
those
years.
golden
Come on.
ages, all right? But anyway, folks, Ben Suttles, Ferris Musa, Disrupt Equity. We are with you with Money Mondays, and we are talking everything: investing, real estate, multifamily, tech, business partnerships, being an entrepreneur, anything and everything. We want you to pick these topics. So if you have a topic that you want us to go over, please drop those in the comments. Give us a like, give us a share. Track us on YouTube. We have all of these. We've been doing this for like 2 years now. Almost 3 years.
No,
because we started in 2020.
Yeah, but I think 2 years. Coming up, 2 years.
No, because we're in 2023, so we're coming up on 3 years.
I don't know if I believe you.
No, we did start this in 2020.
I'd be surprised if it's 3 years.
Well, all right, maybe we took a couple of days off. But
But I mean, you'd be right. No. We would have just finished 2. So we started in 2021, 22. No, something's not right. Something.
Whatever. We've been doing it for a while, folks, right? And we've been investing for over 10 years.
Did you have hair whenever we started?
No, I did not.
All right,
That was a long
wanted to get that documented for the
a long
audience.
time ago, way before we started Money Mondays. But what are we talking about today, man?
Talking about how to buy your first apartment complex, the thing that everybody fixates on. And again, like we like to say, as much as people fixate on the buy, that's actually the easy half of the business. So if you're watching this, check out all of our other presentations that we talk about operations and what that all entails.
All right, so you're a new investor, you love multifamily, you love what you hear, you're just inspired to get into the business, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna take massive action, and I wanna buy something within the next 90 days. I'm gonna say first and foremost, probably a little ambitious, but we love people that are hustlers. So if you're gonna get in there and you're gonna try to make it happen, these are some of the things that you need to do. First and foremost, number one, you need to get yourself educated. There is a fair amount of risk, and there is a ton of timings that you have to kind of adhere to in order for these things to work, right? So if you don't know the process, you don't know when things are supposed to happen, you don't know the frequency of stuff, you don't have your team together, you are just setting yourself up for failure. So first of all, get yourself educated. Get your financial house in order, right? You know, you really do. You need to know what your net worth and your liquidity, what your credit score is.
Know what you're capable of.
Know what you're capable of, right? You know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, unless you have partners, you are restrained or I guess just really kind of hamstrung into only doing deals the size of your net worth, and you also have to have liquidity on top of that, folks. So you need to get yourself educated. You got to get your financial house in order, right? You also need to build out your team. Right? So what is your team? And we've talked about this on the shows a lot of different times, right? You got to at least, first and foremost, get yourself a mortgage broker. We use Peak Financing. Anton Matley is a great guy. Get yourself an insurance broker. You need to get the best insurance. If you're in Texas and Oklahoma, you got to check out Rock Stevens' Strategic Insurance Group. These guys are great, got the best rate in the whole of Texas and Oklahoma. You also need a good property management company. Again, if you're in Texas, I'm going to shamelessly plug our management company, Disrupt Management. You know, you need somebody that has boots on the ground, has managed in that area, and can give you a pro forma, because your numbers and underwriting is just this typically real pie in the sky, somewhat aggressive, best case scenario assumptions, right? You need a property management company in some cases to kind of bring you back down to reality. This is what you can get in rents. This is what you can do in expenses, right? So you got to have mortgage broker who's going to get you your debt, insurance guy or gal that's going to get you your insurance, your property management company. You also need a good general contractor, right? You know, once you kind of build out what your CapEx is going to be, at least on paper, you need somebody to validate that. And then ultimately, once you get the deal closed, you need somebody doing the work, right? So you need to get yourself a general contractor. Plenty of good ones out there, right? You know, then you also need a good legal team. You know, there's plenty of guys out there. Dugan Kelly, Merrill Calliser, Mauricio Raul, you know, Gene Trowbridge. All those guys are great guys. You know, some of them will do the PSA, which is kind of the transactional purchase and sale agreement, loan agreements. And so a couple of those guys will only do the SEC work, which is the PPM, the subscription agreement, and all that stuff, right? So find out which one you want to work with. They're all great guys, and we've worked with all of them. and you ultimately need those people in your back pocket. Those are really your 5 folks. You need those team members. Am I missing anybody?
Oh, there's a lot more, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Those are the main ones.
Title
right?
company.
You need a
good
title company. Who else are we missing? It takes an army to get these deals closed. But this is probably a good segue to the next one, which is don't fixate on those details, right? Have a plan, have someone that you know that it might can point you to the right thing, but don't let it be the reason you don't buy a deal.
No, agreed. Yeah, you ultimately, most of the time, the people that we've seen that are successful in this business are the people that take massive action, right? You have to ready, fire, aim, right? The old Tony Robbins, or maybe it was a Jim Rohn quote, whatever it might be, right? What are they trying to say there? They're saying, go ahead and take action. If you miss by a little bit, you can aim again and fire again, right? You're not going to be able to fix, or you're not going to be able to figure out every little nuanced detail of the process, because if you sit there and get fixated on every little thing, you're never going to take any action, right? So education, get your financial house in order, get your team together, but ultimately start underwriting deals. You've got to go talk to brokers. Every week you should be talking to at least 10 different brokers. You should be underwriting at least 10 or 20 deals. You need to start making offers. It really is a mathematical equation, folks, right? The more deals you look at, the more property tours you do, the more LOIs that you submit, the more likelihood you're going to get an LOI that's going to get accepted, therefore leading to a purchase and sale agreement, right? So it's important to understand that if you just, I underwrote one deal this week. Well, guess what? That's not going to get you anywhere, right? We found this out. 1,000 deals we underwrote in the first quarter of last year. We bought 6 deals. We bought 6 deals off of 1,000.
7.
Well, no, the 7th was later in the year. Later in the year was the 7th. So really, it was those 6 deals off of 1,000 deals that we fully underwrote, folks, in Q1. So you can back into how many deals we were looking at every week. A lot. And we were fully underwriting every single one of those, right? So you have to really take massive action. You have to, don't be passive about this, right? Again, brokers are looking for offers right now. There's not a lot of action in the business. This is a time that you can get in and actually have a call with a broker. Before, whenever it's busy, they're not even answering your phone call, let alone calling you back. Now they'll actually talk to you. Now they'll call you. So good way to establish those relationships. Good way to kind of carve out and figure out how your underwriting is going to work, right? And then ultimately make some offers, right? But you need to also determine what your buy box is too. We've talked about this on the show. Where do you want to buy? What do you want to buy? Right? That should be part of those process too. So get yourself educated, get your financial house in order, build your team, take action, but also taking action with, obviously it needs to be within the right buy box, right? I want to buy Class A deals in Texas that are over 100 units. Okay. Then you can tell the broker that, right?
Yep. Get your pitch ready, right? And so that's probably a segue to the next one, which is what is the benefit of the 90-day deadline, right? It's really to force you to not get into analysis paralysis.
Yes.
We see many people, we go to events, and for the same 2 years, the person's there kind of, I'm going to do a deal, right? Don't get fixated, right? Get educated beforehand, then spend the next 90 days and work through it. It's not about buying all the way through. It's a finish line, but it's really about making a strong effort and maybe have something on the contract to get forward, right? And again, it's real estate is cyclical, right? Right now, the volume out there is very different than it was a year ago. But again, you have to make continuous stride, right? There's always a reason to not do something. There's always a reason to not buy something. Yeah. And so really, don't look at the reason not to do, but look at the reasons to do it, right? And find ways to push you towards that.
And one thing I was gonna mention too, we typically buy bigger properties, 150 units and above, right? But if you're starting off, just start small. I want you to take some action over not buying anything. People, again, get fixated on 1 or 2 nuanced details of the process. If you find a great 50-unit property and it underwrites and you can manage it well, go freaking buy that. Learn, go and cut your teeth on that 50-unit deal versus holding out for that 150 because I heard that 150 units was the best way to do that. Right? Again, the point of today's, webinar or show is to really force people to take action, right? And so that's the benefit of the 90-day kind of deadline, right? So we want to hear, what are your goals for the next 90 days? What's your goals for 2023? Drop those in the comments. We want to talk to you guys.
So I know there's comments, questions that came in. If you have comments, questions, please ask them. We'll answer them here live. Let's go through one. First one, Randy, how to analyze a deal when it comes across your desk. Ooh, so we've done a whole episode on this, quick and dirty underwriting of kind of what to look at, but
and we might do a refresher on this too, Randy. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot to unpack, right? But you're essentially starting with the current property's T12, which is an income statement for the last trailing 12 months. You're taking a rent roll to determine what occupancy is and what the current rents are. You're putting that into your financial model, and you're trying to determine what can you do better in year 1? What can you do better in year 2 and 3? And you're building out a pro forma for, call it, the next 3 to 5 years that you're going to use to determine, is this deal worth the effort that I'm going to put into it, right? Because there might be just deals that are just overpriced, right? And if it was $5 million less, then it could be a good deal. Well, sorry, it is what it is. So you need to determine, does this fit the return profile and my buy box that you're trying to get to, right? So, I'll give a plug. Michael Blanc's got a great sheet. I think it's like $100. And he has a couple, training videos that come along with it. Check that out. We use Michael Blanc's sheet for years and years and years, and it's just a good way to kind of get in and start underwriting deals. So check that out. That might be a good way to get started. So a couple of questions that kind of come in. What are the 4 parts to every multifamily deal? Because again, if you're just trying to do a deal, right, you don't have to do the whole entire process either, unless you're just a type A guy like I am. Right? You can also be a part of a team too that does, then you're doing one subset of the whole entire process. So let me give you an example. Maybe you're a doctor and you have a bunch of doctor friends, right? And you've always been curious about real estate, and so they are. But maybe you're the guy that helps raise capital for a GP, right? For a partnership or syndication, right? Maybe you're really good at spreadsheets and you're really good at financial modeling, and all you want to do is underwrite. Again, you can be a part of a partnership and add value to them, people that are doing deals, and you can get into a deal that way too, right? You can help with the asset management. Maybe you're really, really good at project management, or you've been in property management in the past, right? You could be asset management, right? You could also be a bird dog. You'd be somebody, hey, I'm good talking to the brokers, I'm hustling deals, I'm finding deals, I'm talking about off-market stuff, I'm direct to seller on stuff. You could be finding deals. Last but not least, you could just be, hey, I'm busy, but I've got money. Right, I'll put up the earnest money, I'll sign on the loan, and that's another way to get into your first deal in the first 90 days, right? Again, don't think about having to do the whole entire process, folks. Sometimes it takes time. So just think about, what are you good at? And maybe you can find a group that you can partner with and actually add value there, and that's a good way to kind of get into a deal, right? All right, moving along here.
Really quick, look at through a couple of these comments. So Matt says, excited to have you on. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Nate says, same. Likewise. Cool. Ronnie says, what's up, guys? Hello, Ronnie. Long time no see.
What's up, buddy?
Nate
Happy New Year.
Gibson asks, do you prefer hard money versus bank funding for these commercial apartment deals?
Definitely don't want hard money. I guess, really, we have 2 different, there's 3 different buckets.
Let's talk about pricing. Bank money is how expensive?
Today it's not too bad, right? I'd say you're probably 250 to 350 spread over an index, right?
So that puts you at a what, for those that don't understand? Total,
typically, you're probably 5 to 6
today.
Right now, all in rate.
Hard money is going to be what? 13, 14, 15?
I'd probably say, anywhere to 10 to 15, right? Bridge loans right now are probably anywhere from 6 to 8. Is where you're at on bridge loans. And then Fannie Freddie, if you want to have a 50% LTC or LTV loan, sometimes up to 60%, but you're not getting great leverage, they're in the 5.5 to call it 6% range. So, fair, and then you can get a fixed rate and you can get IO. It's actually not a bad, that's what we're doing on our next deal, as a Freddie Mac loan. Right, but that's kind of the differences, and so you need to bake that into your analysis, right? If you're, Fannie and Freddie are only going to go with stabilized deals. They're not going to do these dicey plays where there's a lot of down units and there's a lot of work that needs to happen. So you need to take that into consideration too when you're underwriting. This might only be a bridge loan type play, and I'm also going to mention something about bank loans too. Right now, banks are just inundated because bridge lending became really, really expensive. Typically, the banks are only doing business with established clients, right? So if you've got deposits, you do business banking with these people, you got a personal, relationship with them, they might talk to you about commercial loan. But right now, they're being really, really picky. So don't assume that you can just walk up to a key bank and say, hey, I want to get a loan for you for $20 million. They might tell you no.
Absolutely.
So just take that into consideration.
Matt says, I think we'd be excellent at negotiating and finding deals for a fee. Nate, so they kind of tagged each other. Hey, there's a whole art to it. Finding a deal is one of the many ways to add value in a partnership.
No, it's huge. It's huge. And again, then you can kind of negotiate, hey, I found this deal. I'd like to kind of work it out with people that can close the deal, and you're negotiating how much of that part of that partnership are you going to get, right?
All right, let's keep going.
All right. So we've got a lot of different questions. What happens after closing a multifamily investment? All right, so one question came in. Let me repeat it. What happens after closing your multifamily investment, right? Yes, you're gonna pop your champagne, you're gonna celebrate with your spouse, and you're gonna say, oh man, that was the hardest thing I've done in less 90 days. And guess what, folks? What I'm gonna tell you right now, that's just the beginning, right? In fact, that's probably one of the easier parts of the process. So I think a lot of people get caught up on, oh, I found a deal. And then they're all excited, and then they got the deal closed, and they're all excited. And then what they realize is the rubber doesn't even meet the road yet, folks. You have to now perform. You have to hit those projections that you had pitched to your investors, and that all takes hard work, rolling up your sleeves, a lot of grit, And if you have that, and the market kind of sometimes helps you out, you'll be successful, right? But that's typically after you're going to have a very short window of celebration. Then the hard work begins. Let's keep moving. All right, so. Let's see what else we got. How do you find multifamily investment deals? We've talked about this in the past, right? People are gonna be like, how the heck do you find this stuff, right? Our main source of deal flow is brokers. And they're gonna say, oh, well, what about going direct to sellers? That sometimes works in sub 50 unit properties, right? Because you're typically gonna have a mom and pop operation. Maybe you can find a phone number or an email and you can reach out directly to those people. It's still very, very hard, but maybe you get lucky. Most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, in especially 100 units and above, you're talking to a broker. Brokers are the ones that know the sellers, know the buyers. They are providing that platform to get deals done. So don't shy away from establishing those relationships. So if you want to buy...
Not even don't shy away, you must
establish
them.
Yes, you're right. Let's be definitive about that.
Yeah.
If you want to be successful
and I
in this
just
business,
got a call from our broker here. Get an offers out there and be the guy they want to call.
You have to push this. And I know some people are like, oh, it's nerve-wracking, it's nervous, you have to, maybe you're not a very good salesperson. You don't have to be too salesy, right? And they've dealt with people that have done their first deals. You have to get them comfortable that you at least know what the hell you're talking about, folks, right? So if you can give them some comfort that you can walk the walk and talk the talk, that's going to give them some comfort that they can go back to their seller and say, hey, these guys seem legit. Yeah, it might be their first deal, or maybe you're partnering with somebody that's got more experience, which then therefore you can leverage. But if it's your first deal and you're rolling solo, just know that you have to talk that person into it, or they're going to probably go with the next group, even if it's less money. So that's something to take in consideration too. So don't shy away from the brokers. You have to establish those relationships. That's where you're finding these deals, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, I expect at least a couple folks here to get their first deal in the next 90 days, right?
Absolutely.
So let us know. We'd love to hear from you. On your success or not lack thereof, right? Again, it's a slow market, not necessarily, saying it's going to happen definitively, but we want people to take action. That's the most important thing in this business, right? And once you do take that action, you do get a level of success. It's amazing how much momentum you can get and really where you can go with momentum.
Absolutely. If you have comments, questions, thoughts, please go ahead and ask them. We'll answer them here live on Money Mondays. Otherwise, we're going to skip past you and keep going.
Oh my gosh.
Going once. Twice. Let's keep going.
I guess everybody knows how to buy a deal in 90 days.
Absolutely. So let's tell everybody how to buy tickets to our conference, which is coming on up.
Well, apparently they're not buying VIP tickets because those are sold out.
All 300 VIP. No, I'm kidding. Not quite 300. But they're all sold out.
Yeah, they're all sold out.
Get yourself a nice executive seat. I promise you, they all have the same view. You're going to be able to get a good look at the stage.
Well, they're a little bit farther back in the back.
A little bit further back, but the same view, right? Still oceanside view for those of you that want oceanside, right?
That's very true.
One in the same way.
That's very true. So where are you getting those tickets at, man?
MFInvestornetwork.com. It's coming up less than a month. We're three and a half weeks out from this conference. Should be an awesome time. We're super excited. It's going to be packed. 700-800 people out there. We're well on our way towards that. So if you're interested,
this is going to be our biggest one.
Go check it out before tickets sell out, because they do have a tendency to sell out.
Yeah, so we got like 11th or 12th one that we've put on, folks. So we know what we're doing. We love these conferences. It's a way for people to get in, get some education, do a lot of networking, and ultimately get those contacts that you need, right? Building that team, all the folks that we bring out, we like, know, and trust as vendors, right? So, you're not going to learn everything in a one-day event, but you might find your next investor. You might find your next partner. You might find your next team member. Right? So it's important to come there. Come with your business cards. Check it out. www.mfinvestornetwork.com. February 11th, right here in Houston, the Multifamily Investor Conference. Really, really excited about that. But before that, coming up February 2nd, we got another meetup.
Coming on up, not too far away, and unfortunately, I won't be there, but would love to see you all there.
Slacker.
I'll be.
Well, you'll be at NMHC,
I'll be
right?
at NMHC coming back.
Yeah. So okay, so you're not completely slacking. So NMHC.
I would have already had talked to enough people there.
That's true. That's very true.
So check it out, disruptequity.com/HTX Meetup.
Yep.
Should be a fun time for those of you here in Texas, right? We have people that come from all over. And so come check it out. We're doing a big open Q&A. Bring your hard questions, and Ben will answer them or try to answer them.
Not too hard. Not too hard. No. We'll do a little chat. I'll do a little open Q&A. Let you guys kind of ask any type of questions that you want. And ultimately, it's there again for networking. We get typically 100, 150 people out there, right? So check that out. Wakefield Crowbar, February 2nd, right here in Houston, 7 p.m. Check it out. disruptequity.com/HTX Meetup. But what's happening next week?
Talking about how to drive ROI by rehabbing your property. It's what we do. Our bread and butter value add opportunities.
We love
what
these.
they look like.
And just to give you guys some perspective, we are right now in the midst of $12 million in rehab across our portfolio. So we know a little bit about this. We also have our own construction team. So, this is the way that you can really force appreciation, folks. We always talk about market appreciation and, the market's going up. What about forced appreciation? Well, you got to get in there. You got to do some work, right? And that's what we know a lot about. So check that out next week, how to drive ROI by rehabbing your property. We're looking forward to it. See you then.
All right. Thank you.